Hello, and welcome to We Got a podcast about Dragon Ball from A to Z. From Earth to Namek to Sadala, we cover it all. My name is Ken.
And I'm Ma Douglas.
And I'm Randy.
We're the world's strongest under the heavens trio de dangers, here every other week to talk your ear off about fights, goofs, and everything else in the Dragon Ball cosmos. Doug, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great, Ken. Thank you. I am living life to the fullest. I just got 17 Dragon Ball figures coming in the mail the other day, and I am still beaming about it.
17!
17. Ju Nanago. Ju Hachigo? Ju Nanago. No, Ju, what's the 17?
No? Yeah, you had it.
I was right the first time?
The first time.
Yeah.
Cut out all that part where I was wrong. No, but I even recorded myself opening the box just for my own sake and maybe to put on TikTok if I like it enough. But
Maybe to watch when you're all alone in bed later.
The dumb happiness, glee in my face of me opening the box is just priceless. So I'm loving it. And I'm looking forward to Zelda coming in a few days for us. Yeah, life's good.
I was going to say, when this inevitably becomes a video podcast, people will be able to go through and just like time lapse your room slowly overtaking everything with Dragon Ball figures.
We better start soon then because there's no room already. So it's just going to, you can see right now, you guys on the
Vegeta's
video.
gone. Can't see him anymore.
Nope, it's covered up. It's a mountain. I don't know where. I got to move. I got to stop buying figures and buy a house. There's the catch-22.
You could build a house out of figures. And then you wouldn't have to take them out of the box.
Randy, you slutty genius.
That's accurate.
Randy, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Thanks for asking. I've been, just doing this or that. Been playing Xenoblade Chronicles 3's expansion because they dropped that DLC randomly. They're like, oh, by the way, here's a trailer. Also, it's out next week. Have fun.
That must have been cool.
Yeah, so getting through that / feverishly trying to get through before certain things happen.
Yes. As someone who's ever played Xenoblade, is like the DLC, it looked like it was a time skip. Is that what everyone was like hyped about?
So it's a
short
prequel.
version.
It's a prequel.
Please.
It takes place like 70 years before the main game. I don't know the exact amount of time.
I thought it was like some character named Rex, and he was like an adult now, and he looked hot. So there was.
Yeah. So all of these have kind of been separate, but 3 is kind of weird, and now this prequel DLC includes Shulk from 1 and Rex from 2 joining a new team here in 3.
Whoa.
And, wasn't Shulk in the DLC for 2?
He was. You like jumped through a dimensional thing that's like, oh, here's where you're doing just fights, like the waves of fights, and then one of them is like Shulk and Fiora from 1. But now this is like actual story. They're there the whole time. So
were they always in universe the same universe or I mean, in just separate stories?
Spoilers for 3, but yes.
Okay. Now, what about Xenoblade Chronicles X, which is the only one that I've played?
Zero idea. There've been no mentions of that since. It ends on a cliffhanger, and I don't know. We'll never know how that goes.
I never beat it because it sucks. But
why would we never know?
I mean, they haven't ever talked about doing more of it, and
it's just a spin-off of Xenoblade.
I mean, it wasn't numbered, and it was its own sort of thing, and I don't know.
They was number 10. So they got a few more games before they can get back to it.
Yeah, 6 more building up to that, and then they'll re-release it on the Switch 5, and it'll be good times. But it's good stuff. Ken, what about you? How are you doing?
I'm still in my Zelda holding pattern, dude. I keep wanting to play Dragon Ball Heroes World Mission on Switch. Wanting to get back to that game, but I have not, because Zelda, at the time of us recording this, spoilers, we're recording this on Piccolo Day, May 9th. We'll get to that in a little bit. So we are 3 days ahead of Breath of the Wild 2 coming out, or as, like I said, the kids say, Tears of the Kingdom.
I think everybody says that, because that's its official name.
Where did you guys...
Ocarina of Time 15.
Okay.
The reboot. Where did you guys pre-order yours from? Did you guys get any bonuses coming your way?
No, I did. Well, I saved $10 because I did the digital voucher thing, so I got that and Bayonetta Origin for $50 a pop.
did that, but then I forgot to buy Zelda, and then all of a sudden Walmart was like, "Hey, there's this like gold banner." I'm like, "For real?" And it already sold out. Okay, here's this black banner. I guess I'll take that. So, getting a little napkin-sized banner, I think.
There you go.
I did it digitally as well, but I did not do the voucher program because there's literally no second Switch game that I would want. I think I'm done with that
you don't already
console
own?
after this. Yeah, that I don't already own.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that
It was
was
Mario Party.
my
And
thing.
I still want to play some Joe levels on Mario Maker, but that'll have to wait again.
Yeah, but I'm seriously excited for Zelda as well. That's why I'm like, I don't want to be in that holding pattern because I've been in that before. So I was like, what's something small that I can like get through real quick? And it's been that and playing Pokemon Red. I got the Soul Badge today. I beat Koga.
Right.
So
Nice. You're playing like the advanced version or whatever it's called.
no, it's a ROM hack of Red called Pure Red. So,
Sorry,
Now-
when I meant advanced, I didn't mean Game Boy Advance. I meant
Okay.
like advanced, as in like
because there was a Game Boy
Right.
Advance remake.
Right.
Is it the Soul Badge or the Soul Badge?
The Soul
Because there's
Badge.
no space there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the Soul Badge. It's good times. So yeah, it's good.
Well, we're talking about games that are so far away. 3 days, 72 whole hours away. All right, guys. Now, but if we want to talk about today,
Yes.
May 9th. What is May 9th? Significant to all of us in our hearts. This is the day that we cherish, and it's not about some hick, Cyan. Screw that guy, all right?
It's not?
Today was first and always Piccolo Day.
what is today?
It's May 9th. Piccolo Day.
May 9th. Oh, yeah. People don't know what day.
Right.
Piccolo Day.
Oh,
we're
yeah.
recording
Why
on
is it
May
Piccolo
9th.
Day? Because we know Go being 5 and the 5th month and Ku being the 9th day in Japanese makes Goku Day. But why is today Piccolo Day?
Because Piccolo said so.
Oh, okay.
King Piccolo, after he stormed King Castle, he got on the news and he said, henceforth today shall be known as every May 9th will be Piccolo Day. And then on this day, I will use my, what was the attack called that I referenced
super
on the
long
last
one
episode?
that you've never seen.
Yeah, that we
Yeah,
never
like
see.
Bakuhatsu Makoho or something like that. I think that was exactly it. But he
Wow.
would blow up a different district every year on that day. And that's today. So, I mean, I didn't check the news, but
I think we're lucky. We're in the clear, boys.
Yeah, it wasn't me.
oh, we are. That a mysterious boy saved the world.
Must have.
Only
Well, if he-
King of the World remembers him, but he does remember him.
Yeah, isn't that weird? But
Yeah. So it's Piccolo, right? And so Randy crunched the numbers and he said, the people like it when we talk about characters. And
numbers.
so that's what we're doing today. It's very fitting. Let's talk about Piccolo, guys.
Let's do it.
Let's do it, man. Man, Piccolo, it's not easy being green.
It's not easy being green. That's the show, folks. Good night.
That's the whole thing. Ken, you put together a age by age timeline of what Piccolo's
Yes.
been up to.
So let's go through Piccolo's journey here.
Sure.
First, and I'll make this as fast as possible because we're going through like
Jesus Christ.
400 episodes of content here, 400, 500 episodes. but-
400 years.
So as we know, and you guys haven't really done a timeline dissection episode yet, and maybe we'll have to do that at some point. but-
Probably multi-episode for something like that.
multi-episode, yeah. But so the Dragon Ball universe uses age instead of like BC or AD. But fun fact, it does correspond. Thanks to Dr. Slump, they do also use the Gregorian calendar, but I forget the math on that.
Well, there's
but,
also a calendar. I think it was movie 4. They've got a calendar for like 1991 or something in the background, something like that. Movie 6,
that
movie 7.
math might check out. I'm not sure on that.
Right.
I do know that if you do the math of when age 778, which is when Battle of Gods takes place, does actually correspond to 2013, which is when the movie came out.
Oh, wow.
So that's just a fun little bit of trivia that Doug probably might have actually gotten right. But
Not at all. No, I don't even know.
Giving him,
I'm barely following along now.
giving him a lot of
so
credit.
let's put this in perspective. Most of Dragon Ball occurs in the 700s. Age 737 is when Goku is born to age 774, which is when the Buu arc takes place. And of course, 84 is the end of the series. Age 261, planet
Wow.
Namek suffers a natural disaster and the child of Katatsu escapes, ultimately landing on Earth.
We don't know this
so-
child's name.
We do not. We know his
never do.
dad's name, but we don't know his name. And we'll never know his name because he has long since forgotten it by the time he could have remembered it.
It's been a long time.
At some unspecified time over the next what is this, about 200 years, the child of Katats creates the ultimate Dragon Balls.
Wow.
From
He just knows how to.
Yeah, and he's using his like inherent Namekian knowledge. He makes them.
Yeah.
Age 431, so now we've jumped ahead quite a bit. The child of Katats becomes apprentice to the god of Earth. And then this is when we have a lot of drama with Garlic Sr. and whatnot.
Yeah.
Age 461, so 30 years later, Piccolo Daimao is exorcised from the child of Katats. The child of Katats becomes God. Mutaito seals Demon King Piccolo away in an electric rice cooker.
That's so if it correlates to human time, they had electric rice cookers way before humanity did in our Gregorian calendar. That's interesting.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't even thought about that. You're right.
It's probably best to not think about it.
As most things in Dragon Ball are.
Yeah.
They were still riding dinosaurs, but still cooking rice in an electric.
Look,
rice
in
cookers.
Dragon World, they're making time machines, so
Yeah.
who knows how advanced they are and when. And it looks like some gardeners are outside. So if that comes up in the recording, just ignore it.
He's actually outside your window while you're listening to this. He's there. Or she. I mean, gardeners can be ladies too.
Is it Piccolo? Is it a criminal? Because crime is free.
We're now jumping ahead about 290 years.
All right.
Emperor Pilaf frees Piccolo Daimao, who is subsequently defeated by Son Goku, and Piccolo Jr. is born.
Man, what a roller coaster year
So we're
for
finally
that guy.
into stuff that we see, right? Into our story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He gets
So yeah, we're
finally
we're in
free.
the series proper now.
He gets
Yeah.
finally gets
How many
free.
years is that from beginning to now?
So age 261 to 753. I don't know. I haven't taken a
wow.
math class in like
Yeah, about
20
500
years.
I just wanted it about 500 years. You know,
A little
rough,
under
give or take.
500, yeah.
Give or take a Roshi lifespan.
Yeah.
So there is stuff in modern like lore that the average age of a Namekian is 200.
Whoa,
So I
that
think
doesn't
that math's right.
coincide at all.
Then Kami lasted crazy long because he's
Quite old,
yeah.
Yeah. Unless
You maybe
Yeah.
you expel the evil out of you, and that makes you live longer.
right as I
Because
said,
you
might
you're
be.
reborn.
Someone, hey, can we get our producer to check in on this real quick?
Yeah.
Beth, hey Beth, you on the line still? Yeah, no. She says nah. She's not gonna try. She quit actually.
Oh, I thought Randy was going to edit in like.
Yeah, I was gonna
didn't
go
want to- I
hire a
didn't want-
voice actress.
I didn't want to
Bethany
hear a
now.
high pitched Randy try and do that. No,
Dude, just go on Cameo. You don't need to hire a voice actor.
I made her quit immediately as soon as she was
All right,
hired. So
what,
let's just.
what can I do for you guys?
You're sweet, Beth. Have a great day.
Thank you.
You're fired. Jump ahead 3 years. Age 756. Piccolo faces off against Son Goku at the 23rd Tenkaichi Budokai. Goku spares Piccolo's life.
So, dude's 3 years old fighting in a tournament. Shouldn't he be in the junior tournament?
They did not have it at that time.
It's true. You got me. That was a trick question.
Nice. That was a trivia question waiting to happen.
They didn't have it until the 24th, in which Videl, I think, was the champion.
Right.
So now, of course, it's Dragon Ball Z time, baby. We're jumping ahead 5 years. Age 761. Piccolo and Goku team up to defeat Raditz. Goku's son Gohan, is left in Piccolo's care to train.
An 8-year-old watching a 4-year-old. I don't think that's the best way you want things to go.
I don't know, like,
No.
for, siblings watch after each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah, but for
They're like
an
best
8-year-old,
bud age.
Yeah,
For
an
a
8-year-old can babysit a 4-year-old for sure.
I suppose if you're a responsible 8-year-old, not all of us were.
In this economy?
I don't know about y'all. I was a great kid.
I was too. My parents frequently said,
Yes, we were all lame.
So a lot happens in age 762. It's a banner year in Dragon World. Nappa identifies Piccolo as a Namekian.
Whoa.
Piccolo sacrifices his life to save Gohan. Kami dies, and the Dragon Balls are rendered inert. Piccolo
Wow.
and Kami are wished back to life, and Piccolo travels to planet Namek, where he fuses with the Namekian warrior Nail. Piccolo is briefly the most powerful character in the series.
Ooh,
Heck
what a
yeah.
good time to be alive.
Yeah.
good time to die and be back alive again.
So now we're jumping ahead at 2 years. It's actually a little shorter than that, I think. And Trunks shows up and warns everyone about the androids. And so Piccolo is invited to live with Goku and Gohan and train.
Fun.
And he stays with them for 3 years.
Does he get a bedroom? Does he just like chill under a tree in the backyard?
I believe the anime implies that he just hangs out by the tree, yeah.
Okay.
He's got a hammock set up, maybe.
Yeah, he hangs out by the tree while Chi-Chi yells at Goku.
Sounds about right.
So we jump ahead to age 767, and Piccolo reunites with Kami and becomes a Super Namekian. Piccolo is briefly the most powerful character in the series.
Yeah.
Yet again. Well, I don't think so, because 16 was around at the time.
Well, who can say?
Who can say?
I just said 16 is around. He's been keeping his power dormant because he didn't need to use it or whatever. I remember that because my friend like really loved that moment. Like, oh, Piccolo's actually the strongest. I'm like, I looked into it. And no, he's not.
Think about it this way, Doug. If you are the inherently the best bowler in the world, but you don't bowl in the championships, are you the best bowler?
What you're saying.
You see what I'm saying?
You're totally right.
All right.
Plus, there's the whole like, oh, Beerus is out there, so no one's ever the strongest. So I get you.
Yeah,
It's true.
Dende becomes the new god of Earth, and Piccolo begins living at the temple. We now jump ahead 7 years, which is the biggest time skip for Piccolo Jr., that is. Mm-hmm. Piccolo never removes his cape and turban and assists Goten and Trunks with their fusion training. Did you guys ever think about that?
No,
The whole arc?
Not until you said it. I was like, holy shit, he doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He never fights, and he never takes his hat and turban off.
He's totally in uncle mode.
Yeah.
He freaks out when Gotenks and Boo destroy the temple. So now we're into...
he also donates ki to the Genki Dama. Can't
That's true.
forget that.
That's
You
true.
can't just
You
leave it
cannot
off
forget.
that he's upset.
I did make such a big deal about the Super Genki Dama.
It's true.
Put some respect on that, Randy.
You need to put the respect on it. Okay, whatever. Give me some super
now-
ages.
So that's really where the series is over, right? A proper character dissection of Piccolo kind of ends there.
Yeah,
because
it's
that's
everything
we're
Doug
now
knows.
in contemporary content or not direct creator influence content. So, and then the dates here also can get a little nebulous and super. The timeline's not really specific. We're still waiting on some guidebooks there. Age 779, Piccolo begins caring for Gohan's daughter Pan and resumes training Gohan. Piccolo participates in the tournament against Universe 6. And he kind of gets his ass handed to him. But he does help identify what's going on with Frost.
He is there. He puts in an effort.
Age 780 the next year, and wouldn't you know it, Dragon Ball Super Masterpiece Show, there's another tournament.
Wow.
Wow.
Who knew they'd do
Super
another?
original.
Piccolo participates.
Hey.
Age 783.
Don't tell me.
What about
Sorry, no.
Piccolo begins training Pan. Piccolo's potential is unlocked by Shenlong, and he and Gohan defeat Cell Max.
Is there a point there where he is, again, the strongest character in the series?
No, I don't think so.
wouldn't
If
say
I were
that.
to compare feats and whatnot and really get into it,
Like how Mike does.
no. I mean, we know Black Frieza's out there, actually, so...
Oh,
Sorry, spoilers, Doug.
I don't know. Black Frieza's out there.
Yeah.
It's pretty racist if you can't count me.
Well, I mean,
we don't call the other one White Frieza.
yeah.
Okay.
Was
Don't.
Golden Frieza
well,
racist
now
too?
we have to.
You know, he's just putting his color in front of him. So then we're kind of diverging into GT territory now. In age 789, the ultimate Dragon Balls are used,
Ultimate Dragon Balls.
dooming
Oh, yeah.
Earth
That's what they're called.
unless they can be returned to their dish or whatever.
Yeah.
We're kind of unclear on GT.
Into Doug's collection room
Yeah.
where it belongs properly.
The Dragon Balls are returned, but everyone's under the influence of Baby, and so they don't get put like back where they're supposed to be, and so Earth blows up in 790, and Piccolo dies with the Earth so that the ultimate Dragon Balls will remain inert forever.
This is stupid.
What a sacrifice, you know?
Yeah.
What a
so
hero.
beautiful. Oh my god.
Yeah, Vegeta blew himself up, but did he stay dead to protect everybody? No.
Yeah. Did he stay dead and kind of get brought back in a series that kind of nullifies the original one?
Who's to say?
So that's the journey of Piccolo, as best as I felt I could summarize it through going through the timeline.
Right.
That's good.
There's not a lot of fanfare, but that are all the bullet points.
Yeah.
We didn't bring up in this whole thing of like, you know, what happens, what he does, like what sort of character changes he goes through. Because, of course, he starts off as a child. Well, he's an old man, then gets punched through the chest, and then is an egg, and then is a child. And then is a snarky bastard at a tournament before then, I don't know, raising a kid. Like, things happen.
Yeah.
I think the core, most important thing that happens to Piccolo is his time with Gohan.
Absolutely.
And he and Gohan are inextricably linked as characters together.
Is it because they're so close in age? Their best bud age?
Yeah, I guess that, or the whole, he calls him Uncle Piccolo, and they're just
that's sweet.
There's actually a quote here that I pulled through. I looked through some interview stuff before this started, and I'm filling for time while I find it. But Atsushi Maekawa was the writer who did the most script writing for GT. They wrote 28 episodes of GT, which is more than anyone else, and just shy of about half. They said that they were asked why, to the very end, didn't Piccolo participate in battles? And they said that because, GT is about Goku, right? Mm-hmm. And Piccolo is a character who should appear in relation to Gohan. And they say that, if GT had gone forward with Gohan being depicted as the focus, then there might have become a story where Piccolo had a big role to play, but he didn't. And so this is where, even going into the people who worked on the series, it's like Piccolo and Gohan, that's the connection. Right. That's everything for Piccolo. If you want to describe him as a character, I think his really only genuine moment of growth at all is with Gohan.
Yeah, I don't know if I love that though, how he's just interconnected. I mean, I guess I love it with like the new superhero movie, how he's back, but I guess I don't know, it feels too limiting of his potential.
Well, and I would also say that I think maybe I wasn't being fair. I think by an extension of his development with Gohan, I do think we're starting to see a new shade of Piccolo in his relationship with Pan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Insofar as what we saw with him in Resurrection F, and then in what we're seeing in with Superhero, I think we're seeing it's a much more kind of grandpa Piccolo at this point rather than Uncle Piccolo.
Well, I mean, you could also say that his fusions with other Namekians has had an influence on him there, because granted, this is post-Nail, but before he decides to go and fuse with Kami, he's kind of going through, decisive turmoil of like, do I actually want to fuse back with Kami? Because what will that do to me? I like being who I am. Like, could we presumably beat 17 and 18 without resorting to something like that? Because it can't be undone. Mm-hmm. So, like, I don't know.
It's a very last resort type thing for him. Yeah, you're right.
And eventually he, decides to go for it. And
well, the last resort was actually Kami. Kami said, like, I'm the one saying we're holding off on that.
Oh, you're
until
right.
the last minute.
Because Piccolo was ready. He was like, I know it's bad, so let's do it. He's like, I'm going to wait. Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Nail, lie of the century, biggest lie in the series of him telling Piccolo that Piccolo would still be himself.
So, and why do you say this? Because maybe I'm just not remembering things correctly, but what influence does Nail have on Piccolo?
Immediately, we get stoic Piccolo. And when he shows up to fight Frieza, and a good portion of that fight, he still has his cape and turban on fighting, and he's just like, when he first shows up, he's like, boom, and he's just standing there still.
Yeah, with his arms crossed.
Yeah, and it's like he's pulling from Nail's playbook in that, and there's even the part where he calls Dende by name.
Yeah.
And Dende's like, how do you know me? And there's a part in the anime when they're back on Earth, and Piccolo says something to Dende, and Dende like looks up at him and sees like an after image of Nail behind him.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And it's like, no, Piccolo gets so deeply influenced.
Now that you mention it, has Piccolo ever, I don't think he's ever crossed his arms like in a badass, like kind of Vegeta way that he always does. Has he ever done that before that moment?
No, I don't think so. Because I think even like when he steps out on Roshi's Island, right after Raditz leaves, his arms are down, and he's
yeah, and he's going to fight even when Nappa and Vegeta come, I don't see him like with his arms crossed or anything like that, like so stoic, like you said. That's interesting. I wonder if that is Nail's influence, or the overconfidence.
I mean, I'm sure he's crossed his arms at points in the series, but
not before that.
But there's a different attitude that he takes the second he starts fighting Frieza.
That's cool. I never really looked at that. Just because, the way I grew up watching the series is jumbled through episodes. It wasn't just beginning to end. You see Piccolo and this is what I think the character is, and I go back to Saiyan Saga Piccolo, and it just seems like the same character, but you don't really put that two and two together. That he does have that Nail has influence on him.
And I think that's testament to Toriyama, is that he does something kind of cheap as far as advancing his character, but in the moment, you don't feel that.
Right.
Yeah.
Everything feels natural.
It's so natural. I love that in storytelling.
Yeah. I guess I never really thought about that. He's, carries himself differently and he's much more stoic than he was before. Because then I'm like, oh, yeah, he was kind of like more aggressive and
Demon King Piccolo,
Exactly.
yeah.
Does his face even look less demonic, demony, like at that point too?
That's art style.
I know it's an art style, but it could have been intentional art style by Toriyama, like
Now,
subtly changing it a bit.
I can hear someone in the comments already being like, well, Piccolo was crossing his arms when he was on Kaio's planet and not wanting to participate in the training and everything. And I would say, actually, that was just Piccolo being kind of a dick.
Yeah.
So
that was him meditating as well. I think he was just chilling, meditating. I don't think he's actually standing up. Like
it was Piccolo not being a team player is what I would say there.
You can't meditate with your arms down and your legs crossed. That just looks like an asshole.
And I'm right, because if you get ahead of any argument, you're automatically right.
That's the correct tactic.
You can't call me stupid. I call me stupid.
Yeah.
So what do you guys feel like for Piccolo's usefulness in story and character development post Vegeta? Because we do bring up that like the biggest thing in his development is his relationship with Gohan. He sacrifices himself when Nappa tries to kill him. And then in the time that he's gone, now Vegeta's kind of filling this story void of bad guy, now good guy sort of thing. And I think Vegeta kind of like sticks with it. He takes that over. You know, what are your...
That rivalry really sticks compared to Piccolo.
There's no
Goku
more
one.
like, I've got to have my rematch with Goku, even though Piccolo already got his revenge. He kills Goku, so it's fine. But
yeah, that might be why.
By the time Piccolo comes back to life, so remember he dies at the hands of Nappa, comes back to life, immediately fuses with Nail. So his interaction with any of the Z Warriors is mostly after he's already become one.
True.
With Nail. And I think he realizes that the way the Saiyans are going with their power jump and power jump and power jump, he knows he can't compete with that. And so he doesn't try. And so that's why after, I think in the Buu arc, we see Piccolo is really like a big driving presence in the Buu arc. Because Goku is like, hey, we got to teach these guys fusion, but I have to go back to the dead.
Other world, yeah.
So Piccolo, you're watching after Goten and Trunks, and Piccolo stays with them, and he trains them, and then he's there like trying to distract Buu, and then goes into the room of spirit and time with them. Yeah, and then afterwards he's helping try to find everyone, and they go and they rescue Mr. Satan, and Piccolo's like there for all of that.
Yeah, he's a very like take charge, like captain of the ship kind of character at that point, which is awesome.
But he doesn't fight anymore. And I think in part is due to his influence now from Kami. So we know that like of Namekians, right? There's the warriors and then the dragons. Like what are they called? The Dragon Clan.
Yeah.
And it's like generally you're one or the other. And in Piccolo's case, he's both, but now he's been like heavily his like Dragon Clan side is back. And not to say Kami couldn't fight, because he did fight as Shen in the 23rd. Well,
but not even just Dragon Clan, like
Goofy
being a god, being literal god of the earth.
Yeah.
You're an observer, really. You're like dictating. You're like, I don't know, making plans and like figuring out the best motive, what's the best way to do things. So that really does rub off on Piccolo. That's cool.
Yeah, and he stays at the temple, presumably, and this is where I'm editorializing a little bit, but presumably to help watch over and teach Dende. As his god self, he's still Kami, and I think he becomes more Kami than Piccolo actually in the Buu arc, and just the part where I put specifically when I did my timeline notes that he freaks out when they destroy the temple, and it's like his attachment to the temple is Kami.
True. Yeah, it's definitely Kami. This sacred place I've been for 500 years, 300 years. Huh. Yeah, that's awesome. Is Dende the same age as Piccolo? Now that I think about it, it's just like he's Dragon Clan, so he's a short character.
I think Dende is the same age as Gohan.
Okay. Yeah, so not too far off, but still.
I guess it depends, like, what demon influences there, because Gohan is 4 when Piccolo is 8, and Piccolo goes from child to adult in 3 years. So wouldn't Dende be...
Whereas we've seen Dende for, like, 10 or 20 years, and he's still the same,
a little munchkin.
depending on...
No, see, Piccolo grows up faster because he is a reincarnation of his father.
That's an interesting...
okay, I like that a lot better.
This is I'm spinning the BS wheel here. So,
so long as
I'm riding that wheel,
as you say,
his body,
like, look, this is not official. I'm just putting things together here. This is what my theory is.
Yeah.
His body grows to fit his enlarged soul. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
You know,
I love that. I subscribe to that.
I checked with Enmadayo about this, and he said it checks out.
Which makes sense why Goku is little for so long, because he doesn't have an old soul. He's a dumb boy.
And why Oob is still always so short. He's just a reincarnation of a short little baby Boo.
Very true. Very true.
Makes sense. So this isn't in the timeline, and this might be springing something you on, Ken, but you are a Piccolo fan.
Favorite character, yeah.
During the 10 days of training for the Cell games, doesn't Piccolo go back into the Room of Spirit and Time? And how long is he in there?
I believe he goes in twice.
Okay. So 2 more years.
Piccolo does, well, yeah. I mean, he goes in just the 2 times. He goes in twice, Trunks goes in twice, Vegeta goes in twice. It's only Goku and Gohan who do it the once.
Okay. Gotcha. So he's still looking to do something. He's not completely given up on Science, just being like, well, they're going to keep jumping and there's no way I can handle it.
That's why I don't subscribe to what you said, Ken, but like he noticed the Zenkai boost that the Saiyans are getting and just decided it's not worth it. I just think like his motives aren't as black and white as Goku's are, where I just want to get stronger. He just wanted to kill Goku, and then after that was accomplished or whatever, like, or he just moved on. He's not very competitive in that aspect where I want to be better. Which is why he didn't stick as a good rival compared to Vegeta to Goku.
I guess what I meant by that is that he realized there was no point in having Goku as his rival anymore. So yeah, he would still train in the Room of Spirit and Time just to keep himself as ready as he could be for the Cell games, because no one really knew what was going to happen there.
Maybe even mentally, he could be in there just to take time to just think things through.
You're a new person. You've got to think this stuff through.
Yeah, I'm sure like a year of like adjusting to this god in your head. Yeah.
By yourself? Well, I guess you're not really by yourself. You're with 2 other dudes in there.
Now, I have tried to drink away a lot of memories of Super.
Sure.
But is there not a moment in the anime where Piccolo is kind of like, during the Tournament of Power, I don't want to say haunted by, but he's kind of like visited by the spirits of Nail and Kami? Don't they like say something to him?
Gosh, I don't recall.
You might be thinking of AF or something.
No, they appear as phantoms behind him or something.
I don't recall.
He's having like a vision.
No,
it doesn't sound like something that they wouldn't do. So I'd believe it, but
I don't know.
Why? What would your interpretation of that be if they did do that? What would they say to him?
Sup? No, it's just like
that was Kami, not Nail, by the way.
Yeah, they're just still part of him, and I guess, and they were like, they weren't just, yeah, probably. I would like to think that they still have an influence, like a voice in his head, not like an overbearing one, but still. Well, that's how Team 4-Star treated it.
Yeah, I do kind of like that aspect of that. But I was wondering, the one part that sticks out to me with Piccolo as a character was when that is different from the manga and the anime. I brought this up as a question on the Taizenshuu EX podcast many years ago, but I noticed while reading the manga that when Frieza is about to kill Piccolo and then kill Krillin for then Goku to turn Super Saiyan, in the anime, Frieza death beams Piccolo outright, whereas in the manga, Frieza death beams aims at Goku, but then Piccolo blocks the shot and saves Goku, which is a very different interpretation, which says a lot about Piccolo. Whereas in the anime, he's just a guy that gets killed, but with Goku, he saved Goku.
According to the scriptwriter of that episode, that Piccolo would... Well, also that Frieza would want to kill Goku first rather than make him suffer by killing his friends.
Right. But I think it says a lot more about Piccolo and just what was going through his head at that time. Is it like, I need to protect this guy because he's the only one that could take on Frieza? Or is it like, no, I kind of care about these guys now. They're like kind of my friends, kin, or whatever. I don't know, because I don't think he was at that point at that time,
Yeah, I think it's a tactical move.
Which is, is that Nail or is that Piccolo?
Man, I also forget that when Goku is charging up that Genki Dama for Frieza, that he's got to charge it up, and Piccolo's the one that goes in there to hold him off. I'm like, man.
He does the Vegeta versus Kid Buu method of holding him back.
When he knows he doesn't stand a chance. That's good. I like that.
Man, I missed the Namek arc. That's good stuff.
It's just jump back in, man. Nothing's stopping you from starting right there.
It's just a lot of characters making the smartest moves they make in the series, except for when Gohan has to split wishing Piccolo back to Namek into 2 wishes.
Yeah. Very inconvenient.
Or he doesn't. Dende's like, you mean you wanted him to come right here?
Should have told me.
Damn you, dragon.
He's a kid. He's like 5 years old.
Yeah.
Give him a break.
Maybe the making language makes it different. Like, oh, there has to be a specific,
True, there's too much nuance involved.
Yeah, who knows?
Right. So, Ken, you say that Piccolo's your favorite character. What are the reasons? Just like, give me the top bullet points. What makes Piccolo so cool for you?
I mean, the number one thing is he looks cool as hell, right? You've got all these like human skin characters, and then like this green guy.
Yeah,
And-
he really sticks out, and he's tall as hell.
He sticks out. He's tall. He's got like this. He wears this like crazy cape with these big shoulder pads
Yeah.
and this turban. He just has like such a distinctive look versus any other character, and that's actually part of when Toriyama was designing him then as a villain. Man, let me find this quote here. He said,
Which is so great to have a monster-looking villain be a part of your team. That's why I always wanted to root for Frieza in Super becoming like an ally, like begrudgingly as Vegeta did. But not Frieza, Frost. I was hoping like Frost or maybe Frost or Frieza, whatever, would have been like an ally at some point.
So I found the quote in the Chogashu, which you guys probably own. Viz has printed it. In the interview in there, they ask Toriyama, how did you decide on the coloring of costumes? And he said, the reason there are a lot of characters with strange colors, such as Piccolo and others, is simply because varying the colors made it easier to grasp their individual differences. So like right from the get-go, Piccolo was designed to look different. Because when Toriyama got to Piccolo, he said that like all the villains up to that point, and this is from an interview in Daizenshu 2, the Akira Toriyama super interview, he said, with all the villains up to that point, there was always something likable about them. But so Demon King Piccolo was born for me trying to create a truly bad guy. And then he goes on to say that period was the most interesting to draw. So it's just like Piccolo coming into the series didn't just like, he's not just someone who looks different and looks awesome, but he rejuvenates Dragon Ball in a way that like whenever I've reread Dragon Ball a few times, and I'm actually due for another reread because I'm sure as we've gone over this, I've gotten some like crazy detail. It's like, oh no, Piccolo crossed his legs at this point, or something like that I've forgotten.
His legs.
So I'm due for a reread for sure, but every time I do a Dragon Ball reread, I'm always so excited to get to Demon King Piccolo.
Yeah.
Because I think once you hit that point in the series, it just takes off in a totally different direction. It's, the gags are still there through the whole series, right? And especially the anime, I think, plays up a lot more of them. Like they add the whole like Goku and Needles thing, but it just takes like a more serious direction. And I think it's not exactly a secret. I don't like Dr. Slump. And I'm not really a fan of Toriyama's gag sensibilities, like when he's just doing straight gag manga. But I think he is unparalleled in terms of like writing a serialized story with dramatic elements. I think he's actually far better at that than he is as a gag author. But so for me, Piccolo represents that, right? And I'm going long about why I like Piccolo.
That's okay.
But to me, it's like I can't separate that, right? Piccolo is the moment when the series changes. He is just like the most like cool-minded through the whole time. Even the part where Ten Shinhan it shows that he's a racist against Namekians, and because Piccolo is like, I'm the Demon King, I have to blah 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 blah, destroy everyone.
Oh, and he was
then
like, once a Namek, always a Namek, like what Ten Shinhan said.
And he flies off, and Ten Shinhan's like, I knew I couldn't trust that greenie. and then Crittendon's like, no, guys, he's flying. Do you know what direction he's flying, you racists? He's flying over to the temple.
He's a great moment.
He's going to go reunite with Kami. And it's like, so even in that moment, Piccolo was cool-headed and knew, like, I have to do the one thing I I never want to do. Like, hundreds of years of history are telling me not to do this one thing, but it's the right move.
But it's the right move, and I have to do it. But that just him declaring the King Piccolo that we haven't heard of in so long, Piccolo Daimao, for him to bring it up during the Android or Genjo Ningen arc was kind of cool to have him say that, because then it kind of makes you think, of course he's not evil anymore, but you get to think a little bit like, oh yeah, he hasn't had a time to just kind of enjoy life really. It's always been the next bad guy coming up, so he can't really continue his mission of taking over the world. But obviously, we know the character enough to know that that's not what he's going to do, but it is nice to have in the back of your mind.
Yeah, and then after that, Piccolo is like the mentor character, right? He's still the cool-headed guy. Vegeta's like, "Hey, I'm going to hell, aren't I?" And Piccolo's like, "Yeah, yeah, dude, you're gone."
Not gonna lie to you, yeah.
Yeah, and then it's so funny because you have all this like Piccolo being hyper competent during the Boo arc, and then he in a moment forgets how the Room of Spirit and Time works, and he flips it around thinking that time moves faster outside than it does inside the room.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
So I'm trying to remember. How does that work?
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh no, yeah, time moves faster in the." It's a whole thing where he's like, "We don't know how much time has passed," and then they're like, "No, Piccolo, it's been like a couple of minutes."
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh,
You're right.
Yeah. Those are good enough reasons, I would say. I mean, he's he's just a cool dude. You brought up, he takes up a lot of space. He's tall. He's green. He's got a big cloak and stuff like that. I would agree. I think Piccolo's really great. My most big memories of it is I watched Z movies 1 through 3 ad nauseum as a child. And that was great because Piccolo is a pretty big character in those. I mean, he's the first one to show up in movie 1.
Yeah.
2, I think he's also just the start because he's blowing shit up in a mountain range and the Arctic, basically. 3, he starts to do his okay, Piccolo's here to save the day because Gohan's in trouble, and now this is going to be a thing in every movie that he shows up only when Gohan's in trouble. But he does it pretty cool. Also has a very badass. It's not a death because he doesn't die. Just Tullus blasting the hell out of him. But yeah, I mean, just I don't know. He's definitely got a presence, and
that's why the quote that you brought, Ken, from Toriyama, that he is a really he brings a presence to him. That is what you think. That's what a lot of fans think of when they think of the main villains. When they do fan art, it's always King Piccolo, Frieza, Cell, and Boo. It's always those 4. Even though there's been so many villains before King Piccolo, nothing really stands out. I guess maybe because they're humans. Tao Pai Pai was amazing, and but the Red Ribbon Army was great. But they're no Demon King Piccolo. That really does feel truly the first villain of our story.
Yeah, because that's the first time that the stakes are higher because the Red Ribbons there doing shit, sure, but who knows what they're going to use the Dragon Balls for? But then Demon King Piccolo shows up on the scene, and it's the world is in danger. He's just going to rule it, and then we're all going to be living that life. So
yeah. I mean, should we talk about King Piccolo too? Ken, is King Piccolo also your favorite character by proxy, or you count that as 2 different
favorite
ones?
villain?
I mean, I do like him. Favorite villain, I think I would still have to give that to Frieza. But as far as Demon King Piccolo goes, he's it's all the same to me, really. I mean, he's that moment when the series changed. And
he fucking kills the dragon. That's a big deal.
That's so, wow, gnarly.
In the Dragon Ball 30th Anniversary Super History book, and another interview with Toriyama, and actually, I don't know if you guys see it. I have that book back here. I don't know if you guys have it.
Is that red orangish one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. They ask him, so when drawing Demon King Piccolo, were you thinking of ideas for the Frieza arc or anything like that?
Oh.
And he says, I didn't think about that at all. Just handling Demon King Piccolo was more than enough to keep me busy. And then he says, I suppose the first time I started thinking about the Frieza arc was probably midway through Ma Jr. There was also something else I read where he was getting people were writing in being don't end the series here, don't end the series here. And he's like, no, when I got to Piccolo, I was kind of already thinking I've got at least another 3 years ahead of me. And so it was Piccolo was everything changed. The way the series was being written changed. The way Toriyama was thinking changed.
Yeah.
Frieza's my favorite villain, but it's just everything about Piccolo changed the series.
Yeah. So prolific.
I don't think anyone else did.
So iconic.
Do you feel that he's well utilized since merging with Kami? I mean, I thought Superhero was pretty great. And also
as a mentor.
Yeah, being a mentor, helping out Trunks and Goten learning fusion, taking Pan under his wing.
Because the story needed that, right? Because there was already the fighting rivalry between Vegeta and Goku. It would be boring to have Piccolo also be a third wheel to that. To be a mentor and to serve his own purpose is genius on Toriyama's part.
Yes. I'm saying yes, and I'm putting a period there. There is no but, no anything. I think the way Piccolo is as a character who doesn't necessarily fight, but still can and still can be competent when he needs to. Doug, there's a whole great thing in the Moro arc where the spaghetti gang or whatever their name are, the pasta gang. I don't know, something about pasta, but they come to Earth and Piccolo intervenes and then he sits down and like interrogates them and he's like, well, I guess you're okay to leave. And then they're like, no, Piccolo, they're not okay to leave. And so he goes and has to deal with them. And Piccolo just, God, he's so good. I'm just going to keep repeating myself. And I can only say how great Piccolo is 1,000 different ways.
Like that, how cool he is that one time when he lets Android 20 shoot him in the chest so that he can just take a nap for a bit.
I still, how long have I liked Dragon Ball? I mean, I think I got into it in 99. So we're talking about 24 years of being a Dragon Ball fan. And I still don't know what the hell his plan was in that moment.
I assume...
Wait. What's the... Repeat the scene for me?
Okay. 19 and 20 are on the scene. They go to do their whole fight thing. And then... I can't remember. I think it's 20. Just shoots eye lasers at Piccolo through his chest, and he's just immediately down. And they're like, "Oh fuck, he killed Piccolo!"
I was like, "Oh god, he's dead." Yeah. Okay.
And
and then he takes off his
then he just
cloak.
As they leave, Piccolo just like gets up and like, "Oh, Piccolo, you're okay?" He's like, "Yeah, I was gonna do a thing, but then they." So my assumption is that's kind of like our cutoff point of where his initial idea of like 19 and 20 are the bad guys, and his editor being like, "What the fuck are you doing? You got to do a different villain." And he's like, "Oh shit, I just had him kill Piccolo to look intimidating. He's fine. Just have him get back up. It's okay."
Just let him get back up.
I feel like it's between those chapters. It's like, oh, okay, we gotta do something different.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, it's like, what was he gonna do?
I respect so much about that writing because a lot of people talk about like the Cell arc because we know that it wasn't like a tumultuous writing period, but there was a lot of editor intervention of like rework your villains. But I just cannot get over how much I love the Cell arc for how especially knowing how much of a train wreck it may have been behind the scenes.
Yeah.
That Toriyama makes it all work.
Yes.
Flawlessly. In a way that makes it seem like that's how it was supposed to be the whole
seamless.
time.
No one knew. No one was the wiser.
I mean, like when Trunks shows up and he goes like, "These aren't the androids I told you about." You're like, "Oh, dude,
that's such a good twist."
And it's like,
and then
like it was always supposed to be that way.
Right.
What a good fix for that. And then of course introducing Cell, being like, "Oh, by the way, something else came, time traveled as well. There's another thing we got to fucking deal with." So. Is there anything else we want to nail about Piccolo here?
Wow, what a pun. Nice, dude.
Before we move on, I think we talked about...
I love the part where he absorbs that lightning in movie 5 from... Was it Sauza? That's not Sauza. It's the... Naze, and then like he's getting shocked by him, and then like he puts a little smirk on his face, and then transfers all that electricity back at him and roasts his ass.
That was
still my favorite Piccolo moment.
That's what he was gonna do. He's gonna get shot through the chest,
even though
then he was gonna sneak up on 19 and 20 and shoot them through the chest. Like, just kidding.
I just kind of wanted to bring attention to how Piccolo is Toriyama's favorite character.
Is he?
A little bit. Yeah, so Daizenshu 2 interview. Incidentally, who is your favorite character? So this is about like, what, 95-ish when this would have taken place?
Like after the series is over?
Yeah, I think they started doing the Daizenshu towards after the manga had ended and like as the anime was wrapping up. And I'm pretty sure Daizenshu 7, which is like the big data book that has like the encyclopedia in it, that came out the week like within the week that Z ended and GT started.
Right.
So anyways, Daizenshu 2, who's your favorite character? Yeah, I guess I like Piccolo the most after all. Out of all the enemies, Demon King Piccolo is the one I like most, and even after that, I like Piccolo the most. And then in a later interview, this is from Dragon Box Z Volume 2, a message from Akira Toriyama Sensei. They said that they wanted it to be like, I wanted to talk about my favorite character. Naturally, it's Goku. But I won't do the protagonist, so I'll pick someone else. And then he says the person who he enjoyed drawing the most was Mr. Satan, but if he had to pick a more major character, he would go with Piccolo. He even liked him back when he was Daimao, but he was really fond of the reborn Piccolo with his sense of solitude and taciturnity. When I started drawing him, I had no clue that he would keep on appearing after that. I guess he really was a character that I was attached to.
Aw, that's so sweet. Even like with how hard it must have been to draw him with all the lines on his arms and his cloak and everything. That's true love.
But it's not just him. Takao Koyama, who wrote I think he wrote a lot of Z episodes, but most notable for writing the movies, or most infamous for writing like the hero Goku character, said, I was once asked when I went to a lecture, were you the model for Piccolo, Koyama-san? And I said, what? No. But I suppose I might resemble him a bit. Because of that, I like Piccolo. And then he laughs. Especially when writing the scripts for the films, Piccolo was able to get all the best parts. What I mean by that is Piccolo was easy to write.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Now, as part of that, while we're still on the subject of who the model for Piccolo was, the popular rumor is, and this rumor is even printed in the books as well, is that Demon King Piccolo, and by the books I mean Daizenshu and stuff, Demon King Piccolo was modeled after Kazuhiko Torishima, the first editor for Dragon Ball. However, this is a plot twist. In a later interview in Dragon Ball Forever, he said that there were no direct intentional references to his editors for DB villains, but he is aware of the rumors.
How is it influenced by a human? I don't understand. Like the model for him.
You know, the nose.
How they look.
The nose shape. And
yeah.
Oh, okay. I guess as an artist, you're more prone to seeing that than I am.
Yeah.
I don't see Piccolo there, but
you look at Torishima, you can kind of see Demon King Piccolo, like young Demon King Piccolo in that face.
I guess.
I can.
Like, he's got a long face, I guess.
Well, like I said, we like Toriyama said that one of his favorite villains is Demon King Piccolo, but we haven't really talked about Demon King Piccolo, and it's his day, honestly, not our Piccolo's
he's
day,
just
but
evil.
King Piccolo's
I don't
day.
know.
But why is he the favorite?
It's like when Randy's drawing all of his handsome male characters, and he always draws you, Doug.
That's true.
You can always
Every
see
time.
It, yeah.
I guess
He's my muse.
And I guess it is like
can I say?
Like we said earlier, like the fact that he changed the game and it just made the stakes a lot higher. That's why Demon King Piccolo was so amazing. He was ruthless.
He's a good guy.
Piccolo rules.
Piccolo rules.
Piccolo's a pretty cool guy.
I think we're going to take a break here, and we're going to come back, and we're going to talk about your thoughts on Piccolo and other such things when we get back. All right, we're back, and we've got your tweets about your thoughts on Piccolo, and maybe something else. Ken, what's this about Doug's intervention?
What?
Yeah, so I've Doug. All right, I got my intervention banner behind me. Me and Randy were standing.
I made
there,
hats.
And,
Is it behind your pile? Is it behind your pile of figures?
behind my pile of figures?
Yeah.
I think my figure's back here, and the readers can't see. Readers.
Readers.
Well, they read Dragon Ball.
You dreamers.
Yeah, they can't see back here. All my stuff is very neat and not stacked on top of each other like a hoarder.
Somebody didn't get 17 of them in today.
Listen, it looks bad, but what else am I to do? Not buy them? Wow,
So
that does sound like addiction talk.
We put out a call to action for what you could say to Doug. Let him know you love him and care for him in
During
this
these
trying
troubling
time.
times.
Snooky Joe says, I'm an enabler, which is true. He did go to, New York Comic-Con or
He
something?
hooked me
Get you
up. No,
something?
it's just like some
Yeah.
random street corner in New York. He just found a guy and was like selling exclusive Gokus. Hell
Helped
yeah.
you get an exclusive Goku that you're never going to open.
I'll open
Sansu.
it. Thank you, Joe, for that. I love you, man. You're the best.
Sansu, who we'll also hear from again later, says, read the Super manga. But jokes aside, I wish all the best.
How did this become a joke with me to have to read Super? I will give up collecting figures before I read Super, dang it.
No, you weren't. No, you said you're going to do it. Anyway.
You can't keep switching back and forth like this. It's so hard on my heart, Doug. Sure, whatever.
Well, thank you, Sansu, for your kind wishes. They will be locked. They will be locked away and never. I'm gonna keep collecting.
Pancheezy says, and Pancheezy does a lot of really cool in-camera photography. And the thing that made him respond to us, Doug, was he was going to say, Doug, consume even more, brother.
Yes,
especially
let's go.
SHFs. Love you.
Can't stop, won't stop. Let's go.
So thank you all for writing into this episode of We Got a Podcast. All right. We'll see you later.
No, we got more.
We have actual Piccolo.
We have actual Piccolo things, and we got the first one here from Jake Pay at JakePay16. Anything when Piccolo is a focus character is gold. From action to comedy, Piccolo is always there doing something and doing his best. Top 5 character, in my opinion. I think it's clear that at least 1/3 of us also agrees with you. I mean, I would also put Piccolo up there I mean, at least more than 1/3.
Totally.
1/3 of us, but I mean, if you take the creator,
That's true.
The almighty Toriyama into consideration, really, it's like 99.9% of us think Piccolo is the best character.
This one comes from Colton. Some of my favorite Piccolo moments are when he remembers he has certain abilities that he always seems to forget he can use, i.e. stretching powers and growing in size. Also, Doug, we're here for you.
So
Appreciate
supportive,
it, man. Appreciate
and also
it.
giving the good things. Yeah, he's always like, oh yeah, remember that I could do that thing that I brought up before?
I can stop whenever I
good.
want to. You guys just don't understand.
Then, well, okay.
That was very convenient in Superhero where he's just like, oh yeah, I can do that. It felt a little less natural than Toriyama would have done, I believe, in the story proper. You know what I mean?
Right. Sansu's back here to say, all the Piccolo is Gohan's real dad meme has made me like him less. But even excluding that, I think Piccolo is a very overrated character. I don't really care about him, and he doesn't have any moments that make him go, wow, or gets me hyped. He's just there. I don't know.
All right, listen here, Sansu. Next, you're going to be saying movie 6 sucks, and that's not welcome here. So, no.
Look, when he shows up to fight Frieza, and he's just in a globe of light, like, all right, that's pretty cool. He's taking on second form Frieza hand to hand, and just like, whatever, I got this. Or showing up to fight Cell, and Cell's like, I'm hot shit. I took out a whole fucking city. And then Piccolo's like, let me power up, and then we'll see how that's going to go for you. And
yeah, that was badass.
he's
Yeah,
got
I don't really
badass
get
moments.
it. I don't really like I'm not like we didn't talk about the whole Piccolo being the better father thing because it is pretty dumb, and it never made me like Piccolo less. It made me like the fandom less that spouted that. That's all it did. I still love Piccolo.
When I saw this tweet, the thing I wanted to jump on was about seeing the memes and having that affect your own enjoyment of something.
Right.
And the best advice I can give anyone who is being affected by discourse or the community,
Yeah, just buy more figures.
is just buy more figures and just hit X, bro. Just
Yeah.
close out. You don't have to let the stuff affect you. It does not affect the original product. Just enjoy it for what it is. And if someone's over here spouting memes, like, let them be a little meme lord, all right? Let them have their fun. You have your fun. Just
It is annoying though
hit
when
X,
it's like
bro.
consuming everything, and it's just like everything you see, like every joke, and it's like I met a random stranger once, and he found out I like Dragon Ball, so he just spouted out these jokes. I'm like, ha ha ha, yeah, like I guess because you don't want to be so rude, but you're still like, it's not funny to me.
Yeah, but you can still. You guys have a core interest in common, and you got somewhere in there is a budding
You're right.
friendship.
You're right. The guy was a douche though in general. Though,
You can
so
find.
it's cool.
Well, you just got to up your douchiness then,
Yeah.
and then you meet him on his level, and then you got it. Scott here says the King Piccolo arc is my favorite in OG Dragon Ball and top 3 in all of Dragon Ball.
Interesting. I've only seen the arc through once, read through that arc through once. I thought it was all right. And then it sure is like a turning point, and I like where the series goes from there. I don't know. I think that maybe I just don't have enough exposure to it. But I liked it. I looked forward to
wonder-
it when I was watching Dragon Ball the first time.
But it does feel so new to Dragon Ball at that point, and then stuff after it doesn't feel the same either. I wonder what other kind of anime are similar to just the King Piccolo arc. You know what I mean? Because I don't know.
For Naruto, I would say it's the cursed mark Sasuke stuff where they're chasing through the forest.
Yeah,
And when Sasuke leaves, I would say it's that. And also right before another time skip.
True.
yeah, true.
One Piece, I don't know. One Piece is different. One Piece is almost like a political drama these days. Hard to say.
I still have to get through
for-
all of that.
You don't have to, Doug.
I'm not going
You
to.
don't have to.
No.
Yeah. If you don't even read Super, let me tell you, you're gonna have a trouble with One Piece.
I gave One Piece back in the day, like I think 100 chapters of my attention, and it just didn't grab me. I wish it did. Maybe I just wasn't in the right mindset or something, or just not for me. But I don't know. Everyone seems to love it. I want to love it too.
I think, just going back to the whole King Piccolo arc thing, like I said, I haven't experienced it enough as much as I have a whole bunch of Z stuff. And what I think I need to do is make a conscious effort to, whenever I feel that bug that like, oh, I want to watch more Dragon Ball, I want to get into getting into a fight thing or whatever, is instead of going to my old favorites, is like, let's go do something you haven't seen a lot, like the King Piccolo stuff or Ma Jr. and all of that. That might be fun to do.
Yeah, because I think I'm the same way where I can pinpoint in Z where everything happens like from memory, but when it comes to Dragon Ball stuff, that kind of era, I'm a little more fuzzy. That's it.
I don't know if I'd say it's in my top 3 favorite arcs, but I would say it's in my top 5. I just think Dragon Ball has so many good arcs that it just barely gets eked out.
The arc just after that, the 23rd Tenkaichi Budokai was amazing.
Well, have you guys ranked arcs yet?
I don't think we have. We might have.
Then I will hold off on saying anything further on the matter. Look forward to that, listeners, readers.
Cool.
Top 5 arc Bruin.
We find out we did that episode 5 already or something.
Yeah. Well, we could always revisit it.
Hey, Randy, why don't you take this one from Jacob Sawyer?
You got it. I like the escalation of threat and the change in tone of the series he's a part of when the Daimao arc gets going. I really like his usage of strategy, and I really love his fight with First Form Cell after merging with Kami. The superhero Piccolo I find refreshing and great. Yeah, man, he's got a lot of good points. There's not just this is the defining moment for Piccolo that that's it, and after that he sucks. There's a lot of good stuff in there.
Yeah. Always give me like overconfident badass Piccolo. I'll eat that up any day. Against First Form Cell was so beautiful. Him fighting him, showing up and then showing off that I'm not Piccolo anymore. And then he just bursts into this huge aura that shakes the whole ground and makes a little a hole. What's the word I'm looking for? Not the hole, but you know what I mean.
Right, a crater.
It's a crater. It's incredible. Incredible.
Okay, I love Z Movie 2, and I love how much of a threat Piccolo is in that movie when he's brainwashed.
Right.
It's he is the second strongest person there. So he could really, and he's smart. He's smarter than Goku. So that makes him even more dangerous. It's it's good. Piccolo's a good dude all around.
See, you guys all love that fight with First Form Cell, but I love the aftermath of it where he's just talking it out with Cell. Because he's fighting's not getting me anywhere. Let me trip this guy out, make him think he's got the upper hand on me.
When his arm is dead, and he's why don't you tell me your devious plan? Since I'm already dead. Yeah, Piccolo, man, what a great character.
So good. So thank you everybody for sending in all those tweets. Really super appreciate it. And now we've come to Doug's favorite part of every episode, which doesn't happen every episode, but we're gonna do some trivia.
Let's go.
So we're going to do this how we've been doing it since Ken joined. Raise your hand, say ding, whatever you can do to get my attention that you want to give me an answer. So I've got 3 questions here for you. Question number 1. What does Piccolo mean in the Namekian language?
In the Namekian language.
In the Namekian language. Ken, what do you got for me?
Ken dinged.
Does it not mean up?
It doesn't. No.
Oh, the ship. What does it? It doesn't mean up? It doesn't mean go?
Yeah, doesn't Popo go Piccolo? And then the thing
it shoots up into the sky.
Goes up?
You know what?
Or that's just filler, so maybe it doesn't.
No, I'm pretty sure that's in the manga.
No, that's not filler. You're right.
Here's the thing. I take a lot of my questions from the Dragon Ball Wiki, and I know that's...
Hold on. Middle of the show, I'm going to get up and grab the manga real quick.
Mine's in the other room. I can't go grab that right now. Let's live fact check this, because they're
go to Wikipedia.
Not even. DragonBall.fandom.com. That's where I'm going.
Oh my gosh.
Look.
That's why I'm getting all these questions wrong all the time.
Okay. So it'll be volume 5 here, I'm guessing.
Of Z.
Uh-huh.
Okay, of Z, and I am looking at pages, and so Popo here says Piccolo.
Does it actually mean launch, and that's why it's dumb for the dub to use launch? His name is Lunch, vice versa.
Okay, yeah, so listen, so look, so he says Piccolo, and the door comes down, and then he says, say it again, and it closes, and then he says Piccolo, and then it closes, and they go into the spaceship.
So
it means activate.
As per DragonBall.fandom.com, it says, in the series, it is revealed that his name means another world in the Namekian language. The phrase Piccolo is used to open the door of the Namekian spaceship. So, like, where did that come from?
Yeah, but where's the source, though?
Yeah,
Yeah,
another world. There's no citation.
Yeah. So, okay. So Bulma says, I don't think these are buttons. What are they? Some kind of sensor? And then Popo says voice sensors. And then Bulma says, yeah, words like the entrance. And then Piccolo says, what to say? Piccolo? And then Bulma says, no, that's got to be just to get in and out.
So yeah, there's no citation there. Dragonball.fandom.com. Fix your shit. There's a lot of stuff to fix. But number one, fix that or cite it so I know what the hell that's supposed to mean.
Or don't use DragonBall.fandom.com, Randy.
Sorry, man.
Yeah, so it seems to be just the word for operating that door.
I'm going to give it to Ken because he knew exactly what that was. And my stupid brain.
Hey, and he pulled out the manga and everything.
It's true. Hey, quick little correction here. Ken did have the right manga chapter to look this up. We just kind of scooted right past it on the page. But it is chapter 244 of the manga where Bulma and Popo are talking. And Popo says, if that was Namekian, then Mr. Popo knows it. Bulma says, really? And Popo responds, really? Now that Mr. Popo thinks about it, Piccolo is a perfect entrance word. It means different world in that language. So there it is. Wasn't a wiki issue or anything there. Just us glossing over and skipping right to a different part of the page or the next page. And yeah, that's that. So check it back in the show. Okay, Ken's got one. For question number 2, Randy's got -1 because he trusted the wrong source, and he's spreading misinformation.
It might be right, but the fact that it's not 100% right.
Yep. Question number 2: how many different colors of blood does Piccolo have?
3. Sorry, ding.
Doug,
I'm gonna say 3.
you are correct. Can you name
red,
them?
red, purple, and green.
Yeah.
Red for the OG. Green for when is it green? I know it's no. I'm sorry. Purple for the Kai, and then green for like censored versions.
So, per the fandom wiki,
Oh my god.
in the fight with Raditz when he loses his arm, Piccolo is seen with red blood, but later in the series he bleeds purple blood. In Dragon Ball Super, he was bleeding green blood, though during the events of Superhero, he is seen bleeding red blood once again. Sorry,
Gotcha,
Ken, he has taken off his glasses. He's like, what is this?
So this dragonball.fandom.wiki.org/lies they are totally forgetting about when Piccolo rips his arm off at the tournament.
And it's yellow.
I believe it's red at that time. It's just like, why are we going straight to Raditz?
It's true.
We're also forgetting a major blood moment for Piccolo.
That's
Blood
true. That's true.
Splurts out everywhere. Yeah.
Also, it's nice. It's good to notice that it's not just like, oh, it's this censored and not censored different version. It's in the story proper in the anime. It's red first, then it changes to purple later on in the series.
It's actually 4 colors, guys.
What's the fourth color?
Black.
And white.
He's holding up the manga.
He's holding the manga.
Holding up the manga.
It's ink.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
Super Saiyan hair is actually paper color. So
Yeah. If you let the paper age too much, it looks yellow.
so that was the intent. Just so you
Checkmate,
know.
bitches.
So it's 1-1. You guys, you're tied.
So this next one, because I'm looking at the doc here, I do actually know the answer to this.
Okay.
So Doug, I'm going to give you as much time as you need.
Thanks, because
kind
I'm not a
of mentally
cheater.
Work through,
and
what
I
this
don't
one
look
could be.
at these questions until they're read. I don't even look at them at all. I just listen to Randy saying it, and that's the last time I hear it.
The reason I know this information is because I did some prep work.
Oh yeah,
for
yeah.
the episode
And
that we're recording right now.
Happens to be the answer. I get you.
Guys, I
Yeah.
love you both. Please stop fighting. This is like living
We're not
with my
fighting.
parents all over
This is
again.
the reason why trivia is the worst for me because I don't have any prep work.
Brings the
You
worst
do.
out in both of you. All right.
Now watch me get it wrong.
That would be great.
Lay it on me, Randy. What's the
Okay,
question?
Question 3. Piccolo is voiced by Toshio Furukawa. What
Love the
previous
guy.
Dragon Ball character did he also lend his voice to?
Oh. It's not Demon King Piccolo, because I was surprised when I found out who it actually was. It's I don't think it's General Blue. It's not Top Pai Pai. But I'm in that area, right? Am I in that area, or did I already breeze by it? What was it already? General Blue.
You have to decide on an answer.
It wasn't simple. It wasn't anything in the Piccolo Daima arc. It was before that, which was the Red Ribbon stuff. Colonel Silver. No, I'm gonna just say General Blue.
He's got it, man.
Yes, let's go.
Doug, you're the trivia champion.
You see how my brain was working? That's fully unfiltered. That's how my head works. Second doubts. I'm pretty sure it's that one.
You gave like the answer on your second like name. You're like, it's this guy. Wait, no. I'm like, no.
It's not. Can't be that guy.
So Furukawa did actually say that he liked playing Piccolo because he played Piccolo deeper than he played General Blue, because he got to do like a new kind of take on doing a voice. Because he said most of the characters he'd done were like higher, kind of higher tone type characters, and so for Piccolo he was able to make someone deeper.
Yeah. Furukawa was the first voice actor I ever met of the Japanese, well, any voice actor really, and it was just an awesome moment to get him to sign my Dragon Box with Piccolo on it, and him to he sign every time he autographs, and then writes the name of the character that he thinks we want him to sign. So Piccolo, obviously, and then one time I gave him like the Project Z from One Piece / Battle of Gods ticket poster that I had, and he signed it, and then signed it Ace. I'm like, I don't watch One Piece, so I had to years later I saw him again. I'm like, can you sign the same exact one again, but Piccolo this time?
I'm not a One Piece nerd.
Someday though you might be, and then you'll cherish
exactly
that.
Yeah, it'd be pretty dope.
It'll be double the treasure. So everybody, thanks for listening. We love interacting with you, keeping you in the conversation, talking about our favorite franchise in the whole world. You can tweet at us at WeGetAPod, and you can email us at WeGetAPod@gmail.com.
Thank you to Rifti Beats for letting us use his track, Kakarot Theme Hip Hop Trap Remix. You can find that track and other great music by Rifti on his SoundCloud. We also want to give a shout out to our sponsors. Thank you for all that sweet, sweet Zenny, baby. Ken, where can the good people find you?
Well, they can find me at Detective X on Twitter, but before that, first, I want to blow some smoke up Mike's ass real quick.
Yeah.
All of this interview stuff I found today was from Kanzenshuu. It is an indispensable resource for this kind of information. So check out patreon.com/Kanzenshuu.
Hey.
I'm assuming
It's still up and about.
Them some of your support. Yeah, so that we can continue to access interviews and stuff like that.
And hopefully Randy will use that from now on for trivia questions instead of whatever he's been using.
Okay.
But in the meantime, Randy, where can they find you?
Well, they can find me and console me in my day of sadness now at Saber_Breaker. And also check out another podcast where I don't get roasted by my friends, Revolutionary Podcast Utena, where I watch Revolutionary Girl Utena with a friend of mine, him for the first time, me not so much, and we talk about it.
You can find me at Drbaz Doug, and sometimes playing Mario Kart with the folks here on twitch.com/VegettoEX. You want to check out the Kanzenshuu YouTube, where they just posted up a little clip show of Ken. The Kenkaichi Budokai, was it?
Yeah.
The most incredible.
I did a whole thing where we played on the night of May 6th, right? And since Papaya Island is modeled after Indonesia, I was like, well, what time would it be in Indonesia at the time they were playing Mario Kart?
The nerdiest thing.
8 a.m. on May 7th, which is when the Tenkaichi Budokai is held. So I did like a whole thing where it was like I was reporting live from the tournament. And
a whole thing, guys. He was in costume.
Yeah, I was in costume.
I'm so mad that I missed it, dude. I wanted to like jump on like as I was like at a bar with like a friend for a friend's birthday. I wanted to just be like just jump on my phone and watch at that time, but I totally forgot. But man, what an amazing journey that was to see.
It's so good.
It was a lot of fun.
You can check it out on the Kanzenshuu YouTube.
There were parts where I'm glad I made people laugh. But when I said something about like the blind kid at seeing school, Mike and Randy lost it.
Yep.
And thank God you couldn't see me, because I was about to burst into laughter too. and
I'm surprised how well you kept it together and didn't break.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you broke off camera, but
it was. There's like periods where there's like silence from me. And it's because I'm trying to hold back laughter.
The blind kid.
Fantastic. Great shit.
Ken, take us out.
Thank you again for listening. Please subscribe to make sure you get new episodes as they come out. Write a review because that helps us crawl up that placement ladder so more people see our show. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Later.